Hello everybody, and welcome to the first part of answering questions from the Q&A. Quick disclaimer, I decided to make a long-form video for each question round, so that's what this is. And then also you can ask questions, and it's actually encouraged to ask questions on this video so I can answer them on the next part. So let's get started. From Xeno the Creator says, why or how were the mascots made? Why? Because the creators of the museum just wanted money. Really, they just wanted money, and they were willing to sacrifice the lives of innocent people to get that money and by putting them into the bodies of creatures. How were the mascots made? They were made using genetic modification and transferring one consciousness from a human body into the dragon's body. Before the rampage, what made or caused Isotope to blame Manta for what they did? For what they did, I'm assuming that you mean Manta. Manta created the pathogen, and once Isotope found that out and found out what Manta had caused to happen to him specifically, which was stage 6 infection, he got super pissed. Reasonably so. And decided to go on a rampage, whilst also torturing Manta. Manta was trapped in the cellar of the Retributionist basement, and Isotope frequently went down there and relieved his anger on him, at some point grabbing a stalagmite and stabbing him through the tail and leaving him there trapped without, just with the stalagmite in his tail. Isotope gets pretty brutal in multiple parts of the story. Why did you decide to start creating content? Well, in the past, during 2022, I did make content like this, and I went by Coda and the Crew on TikTok. And then some things happened that caused me to get TikTok deleted off my phone. No, it was not the TikTok banning. It was something else entirely. And I had to stop. Then, come 2025, near the end of 2025, I got new friends who really helped me feel a lot better. And I decided that I should start doing what I love again. So I decided to start creating content. As a side hobby, I didn't really expect it to go anywhere specifically. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry, my tablet keeps on turning off. Alright. I don't want to butcher your names. Sorry. From Debbie DeKalb. I don't know. I'm sorry. Was Xylos infected first or Manta? Manta, technically. Manta was infected first by eating the rotten meat that the pathogen had escaped into, but the pathogen was so tired out and used up all of its energy spreading and infecting that entire supply of meat, which was a good 40 kilos or so, that it just did not have enough energy to fully infect Manta. From Classified and Confused, what is my favorite color? Green. What's my favorite show? Murder Drones. What motivated you to start making dragon puppets? Kind of the same thing, but just at the start of it, whenever 2022 was there, I just saw it one day on TikTok and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna start doing that. It's not really that deep. Out of all the characters Toothless 963 says, out of all the characters you've made, which one was the most fun to design? Definitely Isotope. He was kind of just on a whim. I had just now finished making Manta, and I was sitting in my bedroom and randomly got the inspiration to start making another one. So That was fun. No. Okay. Potato Man says, "What materials do you use?" He also asked another question, but I already answered that one. I use a variety of materials such as foil, clay, cardboard, cardstock, 3D printed items, obviously, and then every once in a while, like with the current work in progress, I will use actual like medical equipment. So right now I'm using real bandages. I apologize if you guys can hear my dog licking his paw. He's loud. So I use a variety, and I'm still learning. So that will probably change as I go. Weirdo of the month says, "What would be your future plans for your next OC?" Well, right now I'm developing somebody named Neurotox, who is going to be a big character in my lore. Don't worry, he is a bulldog. Neurotox is kind of based off of a jackal, almost, and also a fox. So there's that, but also I have my Sona in progress for, just for fun, because I haven't actually made a Sona yet, so I decided I need to. And that one is human. Unicorn Blaster says, who's your favorite character in your lore other than Manta? Probably Isotope, because Isotope is supposed to represent a lot of my own personal issues, and Saber too. He's probably a third favorite. So also says, who dies first? August. Who dies last? We're not there yet. I haven't actually decided that yet. And then who survives the entire thing and lives to tell the tale? Yeti, because she, as one of the only elementals in the entire series, being one of the only elementals with powers in the entire lore, she is insanely powerful and also has a natural guard against both the spores, and she also has a cure for those who are infected, which I will let you guys figure that out if you want. Ducky the Duck Duck says, what do you use to make your dragons? Answered that already. 2, what's your favorite thing to watch? I don't really watch movies or shows. I really do like animated series or gameplay of horror games. I also really like watching analyzations of infection AUs. So that's kind of it. Oh, I gotta watch gameplay of that before I answer that. Sorry. Queen Rose says, what's your dream room? Nature themed. I really like nature themed things, and I would love it if I could get some kind of room that would be like herpetology themed, I guess. Sage Forest Creations says, I was wondering what you made your puppet's teeth out of. Thank you. Thank you for saying it. You love my style. I make my puppet's teeth out of clay and 3D printed filament, because I currently learning 3D modeling, but I did find some good models that I can resize and manipulate in Bamboo Studio, so that I can create this tooth size and width that I need for puppets. Toadstool Creations says, who is your favorite dragon? without it being a character in my, like, who's my favorite character in my lore, still Isotope. Overall, he's probably my favorite just because of how much he's meant to represent me, and also because of his design. I really do like his design, and I'm very proud of him, especially because he's very big. I will actually go grab him so that you guys can see him compared to me. Hello. Alright. This is him compared to me. I'll take a quick stand. He's pretty big, about the size of my torso or so. And as you can see, the teeth on him are 3D printed. And then, quick rundown of the materials I used for him. The base is obviously cardboard. The forehead and underside of the head are cardstock that I layered on top of it. These are pieces of cardboard with cardstock on the other side of on both sides of them. Eyes, cardboard. Moving on to this, the trypophobia warning. The trypophobia on him is fully clay that I molded, and then also with a little bit of hot glue to give it more texture. The abscess surrounding his parasite is... Alright then. The abscess surrounding his parasite is both clay and... No, it is cotton balls and hot glue, which gives it kind of like a fleshy look, which I really like. It's something I use a lot. That's just my dog. And then the worm is probably the piece that took the longest. So the worm, I first shaped out of clay. That's my dog. I didn't shape it out of clay. Shaped it out of foil, and shaped it until I was happy with its appearance. Kept on adding foil until it was wide enough or thick enough to look like an actual worm. And then I covered it completely in clay. Then, if you take a closer look, there is these like little bits of a little bit more gore, and that is strips of clay that I put on there and then molded onto the figure. And then once they were dry, I used the same method of hot glue with cotton balls, and then I just completely painted them red. It took a while to get the cotton balls and hot glue to look like they were completely red, but it's so worth it. I mean, like, this is my favorite thing that I've ever done on a puppet. So, he's pretty big. Definitely the biggest that I have, and heavy. Very heavy. That's why I haven't really been doing Isotope's journal, because he's so heavy. So, just a quick little 360 of him, including his inside. So there's that worm, where the eye is. So I'm trying to be very gentle with him because the spikes on him are very delicate, and actually I have one coming off right now. So I need to repair him. I already have one that came off. I gotta fix that. He's very broken up, but I gotta fix him, and that'll come later. I'm gonna go put him back and end off the video. I thought that I would briefly grab two of my other dragons, Saber and Manta. Manta's over there. Because I wanted to show you guys the importance of jaw shape. So if you look at Saber, you can see his mouth, the inside of his mouth is straight, doesn't really have any room for teeth, same with the top of his mouth. and in that case, I had to make the jawline, like the inside of the jaw, completely straight, because I couldn't fit any teeth in there, and also because the top of the jaw wasn't very indented, the original bottom jaw shape couldn't fit there without closing properly. So he is my smallest dragon. He's very tiny. Small little size comparison again. He's tiny. And then over here we have Manta. And he is my second largest dragon. About the size of my head. Not that big compared to my torso. And as you can see, teeth are made out of clay. The reason why I don't use this style as much is because the type of clay that I use gives off a powder of sorts, and it is not very good in the inside of the mouth because it leaves markings. So, quick rundown of what I use for him. He's a lot more complex. This is cardboard. The inside of the eye is cardboard. Base cardboard, scales cardboard, the spikes that the fins are on, cardboard. This is a type of pleather, very nice fabric that is good for crafts and doing this kind of thing. On the other side, the outline of the eye where I put all of that abscess and rot was lined using foil, and then I covered it in clay, which is kind of what I'm doing for the wounds on the current work in progress. The kind of veins here, that's just strictly hot glue. The inside of this abscess is, again, the cotton balls and hot glue that I use to create gore. And then this is actually not cotton balls and hot glue. This is moss, artificial moss and hot glue that I kind of use to create some kind of spongy look, because I thought it would look really cool, and it did. So that's about it. And then to give it this rot look, I use a variety of paints such as green, brown, and red. Very dark red. For him, for the inside of the eye, I actually did, I dipped the cotton balls in food coloring, and that turned out pretty good. But I'm not doing that again because it was a waste of food coloring whenever I could just paint it. So, yeah. That's Manta. So, I'll be ending off the video, though I do want to give you guys a special guest. Here we have Banana. She looks so scared, but that's because she's just anxious. She is so anxious. You're hey man. Yes. She hates guys for some reason. She will run away. I have no idea why. She's not abused. She doesn't have any kind of trauma with them. She was just bred, and then we got it from a breeder. So, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye. Yeah. I think that's about it. That was all the questions that were on the comment section on that first video, and I'm going to end it off here because throat is hurting from talking for about 20 minutes straight. So thank you guys all so much for the questions, and feel free to go ahead and ask some more on this video, and I apologize for any excessive stuttering that I did while on here, because this mask is kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.